Alright guys, in this lesson I'm going to teach you some fundamentals about the jab. Okay, the jab's a very important punch, probably one of the most important punches you'll learn. One of the things it's very useful for is kind of probing your opponent and trying to figure out how they react. Every time you throw the jab, it doesn't have to be a really solid shot. Okay, sometimes it's used just to garner a reaction. If we get the reaction we're looking for, we can create openings and then follow with an intentional strike to do some damage. Okay, so let me go over some quick fundamentals first. Okay. When I throw my jab out, I'm usually going to throw it as I step. When I land on this foot is when I want to land my jab. Okay, here. That's usually when my body's the heaviest. Okay, I don't want to throw my jab and land it as I'm in the air. Okay, it's almost like pushing a car like this. It's really kind of counterproductive. So I want to land it as my body weight slams forward on my front foot. Boom. When I throw my jab, notice that I'm keeping my chin tucked behind my shoulder. Okay? When I go to extend, I want to hit with these first two knuckles right on the tip of that chin if I can. You can also place the jab in different areas to kind of garner some reaction to kind of open the guy's guard up. Okay? But if you do see the opening for the chin, I would highly advise taking it. Okay? What it looks like coming forward. Okay? You don't always keep your head in the center line either. You can throw it in different ways. Getting your head slightly off the center line. Or throwing after you move your head. Okay? As you come forward, you're very susceptible to taking shots as well. So keeping your head off of that center line as you throw is super important. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you the jab from the opposite side now. Forward again. Okay, so some do's and don'ts about the jab. A lot of times when guys step forward with the jab, one of the most common mistakes I see is someone trying to it looks like they're shooting a bow and arrow, so it kind of looks like this. Okay? When I do that, I'm leaving my face open and my body open. I think maybe because we naturally run in this manner or something, our body mechanics are kind of prone to going back to what we already know. So you're going to have to kind of retrain yourself. Think about being in the preacher curl machine at the gym, having your elbows stuck on that pad. When I go to throw that jab, I want to keep this railroad spike right in front of me, so the person trying to attack me as I'm attacking them has something to be fearful of. Okay? A lot of times that can shut down an attack. If they see that they can't hit the target, it'll deter them from wanting to throw in the first place. Okay? So from here, elbow in, delivering my jab. Body's protected, head's protected, chin down. Okay? I'm going to cradle my chin between my hand and my jabbing shoulder. And that gives me a lot of coverage and a lot of defense when I go to deliver. Alright guys, so when we jab, it's super important to keep your chin tucked as well. Generally speaking, the targeting range is between, on your upper body, is between your temples and your floating ribs. That's where there's the most vital targets. So watch. If I simply pick my hands up and I keep my chin in the air, my temples are here, my floating ribs are down here. Now, I can compact this target area by simply tucking my chin. This shortens the distance between the two endpoints of the target, essentially making my target smaller. I can again make my target smaller by simply turning slightly and putting my rear shoulder behind me. So combining the turn of my body, chin down, looking through my eyebrows at my opponent, this minimizes my target versus here. Alright guys, so when you throw your jab, it's super important to have your base under you correctly. We've gone over this previously in our previous lesson, but I'm just going to kind of touch on that again because it's super important. This would be bad base when you go to throw your jab. Leaning your shoulders too far forward, creeping this knee too far forward, it's hard to change your direction once you go to fire. Let's say I throw my jab and they do a simple catch block 1-2 counter. Okay? If I were to do this, I would not be able to get out of the way. Let me show you how this works. All right, guys. So now I'm going to cover a topic that's not talked about very often, but I call it punching from the back seat. I remember being a little kid and maybe playing around with my friends, and maybe my friend was bigger than me, and I would try to throw defensive punches from the back seat like I'm trying to get them away. So what I see, especially in a lot of karate stylists transitioning over into the boxing frame of mind, I see a lot of this punching like this with their hip forward here, instead of really getting their weight to shift forward. Now look, I'm shifting my weight, but I don't want to break this cylindrical barrier, this invisible cylindrical barrier. I don't want to do this, okay? And I don't want to keep the back of my head on the cylindrical barrier either, okay? Stay centered. I can shift slightly, okay? But I don't want to go too far and hit my head on the front of it or rest my head on the back of it. And I call that punching from the back seat. Don't do it. All right, guys. So I'm going to go over the importance of turning your shoulder slightly when you jab. Okay, so some of the common mistakes I see when people jab is not transferring their weight properly and not getting the reach that they should have gotten because of the way they're turning their shoulders. Some people, when they throw their jab, they stay in their stance and don't turn their shoulders at all. Okay, this severely limits their reach. So, just for the purpose of showing you the difference in the distance, I'm going to do this in place. I'm extending my hand. I'm not turning my shoulders. Now watch. My front foot's going to pivot inward slightly, and my shoulders are going to pivot. So as I go to jab, not keeping my shoulders in the same position, I'm going to blade them a little bit more and get just a couple more inches of reach. I'll do this facing forward. No shoulder turn. You can see I'm also maximizing my target area. I want to turn a little bit too. It minimizes my target area just a little bit more. Okay? From the side. No shoulder turn. With shoulder turn. All right, guys, I hope you liked your lesson on the jab. I'm going to go over a couple things and leave you with this. Some of the things you need to remember: keeping that right hand high and tight, elbow in, protecting the body and the head. Notice the chin is down, minimizing the target area. Right here, left shoulder's high, turn the punch over, okay? Turn my shoulder slightly to get that extra power and extra weight transfer. I hope you liked it. Remember, eat, sleep, train, fight. We'll see you on the next one.